Good morning. I wanted to welcome all the members to Senate Finance, a lot of new members and returning members as well. And I also want to let everyone know that we will be starting, every one of our meetings will be starting at 8 a.m. And so that's our subcommittee meetings and our finance meetings plus our joint full meetings. And then once we get rolling with budgets and start hearing bills, we'll be having afternoon meetings in addition to the morning meetings, and possibly a couple of them. And there's also going to be 477 budgets to close. That's in addition to any bills that come over here through the course of session. So this is an incredibly busy committee, and it's incredibly important that we just manage the schedule. And if we lose a day or part of a day, we absolutely have to make it up somewhere else along the line. So it's imperative that we're on time and we start and we do this with efficiency. All right. So with that, Mr. Hartz, will you call roll?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Dennis.
Here.
Senator Keykeper.
Here.
Senator Goycochea.
Here.
Senator Hammond.
Here.
Senator Ratty.
Here.
Senator Severs-Ganser. She is here. Senator Cannizzaro.
Here.
Senator Dondera-Luke.
Here.
Chair Brooks.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Hartz. Today we're going to go over the committee organization and what everyone's roles are and how we're going to proceed. So, Mr. Thorley, can you start your presentation for us?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, everyone. You all should have received a document via email from LCB Fiscal staff with the committee organization documents. Usually these documents would be sitting on the dais in committee room waiting for you, but due to the virtual environment, we sent it over via email. The first page of the document, page 1, says Senate agenda for the Committee on Finance on it. If you don't have that document, please let myself or Alex know so that we can make sure you have that document. The first thing to go over today are the standing rules for the Senate Finance Committee for the 2021 session. On page 2 of the document, page 2 and 3, you'll see the proposed Senate Finance Committee rules in red line. The rules are largely the same as the rules that were adopted by the Senate Finance Committee in 2019. 2 changes, however, have been made to the rules. In Rule 1, on the 3rd line, the word bill has been added, indicating that a quorum is required to hear any bill, budget, or resolution. This was implied before, but has now been added to the rules. The other change is on Rule 8. The word pagers has been removed because nobody has a pager anymore that I'm aware of. So now it just says cell phones, laptops, and or other electronic equipment must be muted during hearings. The committee size did increase this year from 8 members to 9 members. However, the quorum requirements in order to hear bills and to vote did not change. So that still sits at 5, even with the 1 increased committee member. So that those requirements didn't change. That's it for my overview of the rules, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Thorley. Has everyone had a chance to review the rules? And like Mr. Thorley said, they're largely the same, minus my I can no longer have to mute my pager as they were last session. And if so, I would looking for a motion to approve the rules.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Senator Ratty and a second from Senator Dennis. Any discussion? All right. Motion carries. So we will go forward with these rules, and Mr. Thorley, if you want
Chairman,
to.
this is Senator Dennis. Do we need to vote? I'm sure we have to do, but
Yeah, Mr. Chair,
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
probably do a roll call vote. And Mr. Hartz can take care of that.
Thank you. Senator Dennis,
yes.
Senator Kekeffer,
Yes.
Senator Goycochea,
Yes.
Senator Hammond,
Yes.
Senator Ratty,
Yes.
Senator Severs-Gansert,
Yes.
Senator Canizaro,
Yes.
Senator Dondero Luke,
Yes.
Chair Brooks.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Hartz. Thank you, Senator Dennis, for catching that. So eager to get going. And so next we'll have Mr. Thorley walking us through fiscal staff.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Before we get to fiscal staff introductions, there are a few more documents on in the committee organization packet I'd like to walk the committee through, if that's okay.
Please.
On page 4 of the packet you all received, it begins several documents related to the budget review process. These documents highlight budgets that will be heard in full committee versus subcommittee versus staff closing. The documents also indicate which agencies are scheduled to present to which subcommittees or full committee. Starting on page 4 through page 12 of the packet is the proposed list of budgets to be staff closed. The executive budget contains 477 budget accounts in it, budget accounts that actually have funding recommendations in them. Several of these, 204 of them, have been identified by fiscal staff as being eligible for staff close. Staff close budgets are budgets that do not receive a budget hearing during the February-March portion of session and are brought for the subcommittee or full committee for closing as we get into April, May with staff recommendations for closing. These are budget accounts that there's not a lot of recommended enhancements in them. There's statewide maintenance decision units, sometimes minor enhancement requests related to replacement computer equipment and things like that. But otherwise, there's not a lot going on there. In order to create an efficient process in committee, we recommend that those budget accounts be set aside for staff closing. So you'll see 4 columns on this document, with X's in them. The first column are budget accounts that are proposed to actually have a budget hearing, either in full committee, joint full committee, or one of the subcommittees. The second column, 2021 staff closing proposed, any budget account with an X in that column is recommended for staff closing. And then for reference for the committee, the next 2 columns show which budget accounts were staff closed in 2019 and 2017. If there's an NA in any of those, in any of the columns, it's because that budget account did not exist in that session. And so there was no closing done. The last thing I would note on this document, on page 12 of your handout, at the very bottom, there are several budget accounts listed that don't have, that are included in the executive budget, but there's no funding recommended for those budget accounts in the executive budget. So there will not, they won't be staff closed or heard. There's no funding recommended in the executive budget form. For example, budget account 3714, the Department of Corrections one-shot appropriations. This budget account has been used in the past for one-shot appropriations, but is not recommended this session to have any funding in it. If any committee members have any questions about budget accounts that are proposed to be staff closed, I'd encourage you to contact myself, Mr. Hartz, or Chair Brooks to discuss those. The next document, starting on page 13 of your packet, it lists the agencies that will be reviewed in full committee. And then next to the agency's name is the assigned LCB analyst that is assigned that agency. Then about halfway down page 13, it begins to list the agencies that will be heard in subcommittee. And it lists the agencies by subcommittee, so you'll be able to see which agencies are heard in the Public Safety, Natural Resources, and Transportation Subcommittee, which agencies will be heard in the Human Services Subcommittee, the agencies that will be heard in the Education CIP Subcommittee, and then lastly, the agencies that are heard in the General Government Subcommittee. On page 15, is a similar document to the one I just went over. It lists the subcommittees for the 2021 session, the Senate Finance members that are assigned to each of the subcommittees, and then it lists the executive branch, judicial branch, and legislative branch agencies that are heard in the various subcommittees. On page 16 through 16 and 17 is a list of new budget accounts included in for the first time in the 2021-23 executive budget. These are budget accounts that the committee has not seen before that are recommended by the governor in his executive budget to be funded and included. There's the budget name, the functional area of the budget's listed in addition to the budget account name, the budget account number, and then a brief description of the proposed purpose of the budget account is listed on that document. The next page is page 18. This document is a staff directory for LCB Fiscal Analysis Division. It lists all the analysts and the analysts' agency assignments. The analyst's email address is also included in case you ever need to contact the analyst. But this is for internal use and normally in a regular session you would be seeing the various analysts join us in committee on the days that they have that an agency that they're assigned to is presenting their budget. They will be joining us this year. It'll just be virtually, so you won't be seeing them in person. On page 19 of the packet is a sample progress report from the 2019 session. Every week, fiscal staff prepares a progress report for the Senate Finance Committee to provide an update to the committee members on the progress of the committee. As Chair Brooks mentioned at the beginning of the committee meeting, the committee has to be very efficient and deliberative in its work. There are not any days that can be wasted. And this progress report that is done weekly by fiscal staff helps the committee understand where the committee's at any point in time in session and what is outstanding to be done. So it lists the budgets that have been heard. It lists budgets that have been closed, and then it also lists bills that have been referred to the committee, and then the status of the various bills in the committee. And then lastly, it lists the capital improvement programs, projects that have been reviewed by the committee or are scheduled to be heard. Again, this is an important document that we'll be updating every week to make sure that we are on track to get our work done within the 120 days time frame. The last document that is in the packet beginning on page 20 of your packet is a sample highlight. Those of you that have served on a money committee before are familiar with the highlight process. You all also received highlights from the Fiscal Analysis Division during the pre-session budget hearings, the Legislative Commission's budget subcommittee hearings the last 2 weeks. The budget highlights for session are similar. These are internal documents that are not to be reproduced or provided to non-committee members. In the past, these documents have been provided in hard copy to committee members prior to the meeting, and then they were kept by the committee members in binders. Our staff has provided binders to all of you all to keep these documents. But they will not be hand delivered anymore because of the virtual environment. They will be emailed to you all prior to the meeting. If you would like a printed out version, you'll need to get with your attaché to print out a version and include it in the highlight binders that have been provided to you. But again, hard copies will not be provided by fiscal staff or committee staff. The format of the highlight has changed a little bit from prior sessions. So the sample highlight included is from a fictitious agency and includes the new highlight format. The general format, though, of major issues and minor issues is still intact. Mr. Chair, that is everything I have related to committee organization. But if any committee members have any questions about any of the documents that I went over, I would be happy to answer those questions at this time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thorley. Do any of the committee members have any questions on what Mr. Thorley just presented on our committee organization? If not, then please proceed, Mr. Thorley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item we wanted to go over was LCB fiscal staff introductions. However, I'm not sure they're done doing introductions in Ways and Means. LCB fiscal staff was also doing introductions this morning in Ways and Means. So, Mr. Chair, it might, in order to make sure that we have time for fiscal staff to finish up in Ways and Means and then join the Senate Finance Zoom meeting, it might be better to go to committee staff introductions from the committee manager, Jamie Carrillo, before we get to LCB fiscal staff introductions.
That sounds like a plan. Jamie, would you like to introduce yourself and your staff?
Good morning. All right. My name is Jamie Carrillo, and I'm the committee manager for Senate Committee on Finance. I've worked with several governing bodies at the local level, city councils, board of directors, and excited to experience my first session here at the state of Nevada. Vicki? Vicki.
Committee, I apologize for the interruption. This is broadcast. It does look like we are muted. So if you could go ahead and unmute your microphone, then I think we will be able to all hear you.
Hello, this is a test. Production, could we turn off the speaker in the committee room?
Please wait one moment while we check on that.
Senators, are you able to hear Jamie? Is there a weird echo going on?
We can hear you, but there is an echo and feedback.
Okay. We'll wait on production.
Why don't we, while we're waiting for them to work out that issue with the feedback, why don't we move to committee member introductions? And I would like to start with my vice chair, Senator Dennis. If you could introduce yourself to the committee and staff and your fellow finance members.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Dennis, I don't know what you want me to share. This is my, let's see, 16th, 14th year. I've been on finance all my whole legislative career except for one session, I believe. So I enjoy being able to work on the budgets. I think that we have a great committee this year, and grateful to be here. And I know we have some great staff. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Dennis. And Senator Ratty.
Hi, everybody. My name's Senator Julia Ratty, and I represent Senate District 13, which includes portions of Reno and Sparks. This is my first session on the Finance Committee, and I'm very excited to be here and looking forward to it. I will be chairing Subcommittee on Health and Human Services.
Thank you, Senator Ratty. And if Senator Kiekefer, one of the other veterans of the committee.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. It's nice to be back. It's good to see everyone virtually. Look forward to the time when we can gather together and give each other strange looks across the dais when we don't understand something. This will be my sixth session on finance. Obviously, it's one of the things I like best about serving in the legislature, and look forward to this session. We've clearly got a lot of work to do, so looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Senator. And Senator Gokachia, could you introduce yourself to the rest of the staff and committee?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Senator Gokachia. And I've been here a long time. I'm not going to say how good a career, but I served on Ways and Means in the Assembly side, and I've been on Senate Finance. Typically, I guess my forte would be maybe some of the rural issues, conservation, Department of Ag, Department of Wildlife, and some of those areas that tend to pertain a little more to rural Nevada. I seem to have a little bit of expertise in those venues, but I depend on the real brains like Mr. Kiekefer, Mr. Dennis, and yourself when it comes to budget issues. So, and Ms. Gansert as well. So thank you. Even though I've been here a long time, I'm still learning.
Thank you, Senator Gokachia. I'd like to now start with the freshmen on the committee. And we have Senator Canizaro.
Morning. I'm Nicole Canizaro. I represent Senate District 6, which is sort of the northwest portion of the Las Vegas Valley. And this is my first session on the Senate Finance Committee. And congratulations to Chair Brooks. I know you're going to do a fantastic job, and just really looking forward to working with this group to come up with some good solutions for our budget questions this session. So eager to get to work.
Thank you, Majority Leader. And we have Senator Hammond as well joining the committee this year.
Yes, good morning, and I'm glad to be here. This is my first time on the committee. Senator Hammond, I represent District 18 down in Las Vegas, and looking forward to really diving in. Probably going to be asking a lot of questions, so I do appreciate the staff, and I know we've got a great staff, and appreciate your willingness to sit down and be patient with new legislators in this process. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hammond. And which subcommittee will you be chairing? I mean, will you be on? Excuse me.
You tell me which one I'll be chairing, and I'll be more than happy to do that for you. I'll be on the subcommittee for Health and Human Services with Senator Ratty.
Thank you, sir. And Senator Dondero Liu.
Good morning. I represent Senate District 8, which is on the west end of Las Vegas, takes in parts of Summerlin and the lakes and Coley Ranch, if you're familiar. I have not served on finance before, but this is my fifth session, and so I'm really excited about doing this new adventure, and I look forward to working with all of you, and I'll be chairing the K-12 Education Subcommittee. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. And last but not least, we have Senator Siebert Gansert.
Well, I'm happy to join the committee, and I appreciate being called a freshman. So I served on Ways and Means for 3 terms, and this is my first time on Senate Finance, and I'm very pleased to be here and hopefully can contribute. And I appreciate the leadership as well as the staff as we work through the hundreds of budgets. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And I'm just very honored and to be able to chair this committee. And I was able to be an alternate in Ways and Means when I was in the Assembly and got a good amount of use because of my schedule availability. And then was put on Finance last session and then on IFC through the interim. And it's been a tremendous learning experience, and it's such an important job. And I'm just so proud and thankful and grateful to be surrounded by so many folks that I respect so immensely and that have such experience serving the state of Nevada at several different capacities. And so I think this is an amazing committee, and it's very representative of our state, both north and south, different types of communities, and I think this is just going to be a really great committee this session, and I really appreciate everyone's service, and I look forward to learning from you and working with you. And so with that, I think that we can hand this back over to Mr. Thorley to see if fiscal staff is available, or we can go back over to Jamie and if they've got their technical difficulties worked out. So,
Mr. Chair, fiscal staff is still joining the meeting from Ways and Means. So I got a text from Jamie. They have their technical issues, I think, worked out and are ready to proceed.
Well, great. So Jamie, we'd love to hear from you and introduce yourself and all your staff.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So this is Joko. Joko was born and raised in Reno. He is a recent UNR graduate with a major in poli-sci and a minor in American history. Joko may look a bit familiar. He was an intern in Senator Brooks' office last session and is happy to be back in the legislative building, this time as a Finance Committee Secretary. Sarah was born and raised here in Carson. Sarah worked for the Research Division back in 2003 and is now back for her second session, this time as a Finance Committee Secretary. Melody received her master's degree from Yale University before moving to the Chicago area to raise her children. She most recently worked at Northwestern University in Chicago before moving to Northern Nevada this past summer. Melody is delighted to be working as a Finance Committee Secretary during the 81st session. Tom is a native Nevadan, having been born and raised in Las Vegas before moving to Reno to attend UNR. This is Tom's second legislative session as a Senate Finance Committee Secretary. He completed a teaching program to become a high school biology teacher right before schools were forced to distance learning during the pandemic. And that is our team. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. It's great, all of you again, and I look forward to working with you this session. And thank you so much for all your service to this committee and to the state. And Mr. Thorley, as soon as the fiscal staff is all joined and you guys are ready to go, I think we're ready to hear from you and meet and your staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I see on the participants list that fiscal staff is joining right now. So we'll go ahead and get started with our introductions. And as we go through the introductions, that'll give time for the rest of the fiscal staff to join. I will start first. My name, for those of you that don't know me, is Wayne Thorley. I am the new Senate Fiscal Analyst as of about the middle of October. This is somewhat of a homecoming for me. My last session with LCB Fiscal was the 2013 session. as a policy or a program analyst, and then I took a 6-year detour to the Secretary of State's office where I worked in the elections division. Very excited to be back with LCB. The Legislative Council Bureau has a well-deserved reputation as being one of the premier service agencies, legislative service agencies in the country, and that is largely due to the great staff at LCB. So very excited to be working with many old colleagues and many new colleagues, and to be working with you all on Senate Finance Committee. This is my, I guess, my 4th legislative session with the Legislative Council Bureau. I did the 2009 session in the Research Division, and then the 2011 and 13 sessions with the Fiscal Analysis Division. I'm going to hand it over to my right-hand man, Mr. Alex Hartz, to introduce himself next. Before he introduces himself, though, I just want to, many of you know Mr. Hartz very well. He served on the committee for a long time, and I absolutely could not do this job without him, and just appreciate all the mentoring and training that he has given me over the last several months. So, Mr. Hartz.
Thank you, Mr. Thorley. For those of you who I have not met, I'm Alex Hartz. I have been with the state since 1994, with the Fiscal Analysis Division since 2008, in program analyst, and then my current capacity as the principal deputy of the Senate Fiscal Analyst. This is my 7th legislative session with the Fiscal Analysis Division, and the primary account that I carry and will be presenting to you during the budget hearings is the Public Employees Benefits Program. And happy to answer any questions, but thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you once again. Thank you, Mr. Thorley.
Thank you, Mr. Hartz. We'll go next to Kathy Crockett, and Mr. Chair, we'll do introductions by team. Our office is divided into teams. We have a team lead with 1 or 2 program analysts under each team lead. So we'll start with Kathy Crockett and then do her team members.
Good morning, Chairman Brooks and members of the committee. My name is Kathy Crockett. This is my 6th legislative session with the Fiscal Analysis Division. I also have experience working in public and private sector finance and accounting. I'm fortunate to work with Kimbra Ellsworth and Nancy Morris on my team in the office. My personal assignments include the Division of Healthcare Financing and Policy, which includes the Nevada Medicaid program and related budgets, the Smart 21 project, and the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency. And I look forward to working with everyone this session, and I'll turn it over to Kimbra.
Good morning. My name is Kimbra Ellsworth. I joined the Fiscal Analysis Division in January 2018. I have extensive experience in the public sector, including 3 years with the Nevada Department of Transportation, and my current agency assignments include various accounts within the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, as well as the Aging and Disability Services Division and the Governor's Office of Economic Development. And now I'll turn it over to Nancy.
Hi, I'm Nancy Morris. I joined the Fiscal Analysis Division in September of 2019. I was a session hire during the 2019 legislative session, and I previously held product management roles at a variety of consumer products companies in the Chicago area. My assignments include the Department of Employment Training and Rehabilitation, the Department of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, the Governor's Office of Energy, and some of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources budgets. And next up is Team Day.
Thank you, Nancy. Hi, I'm good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Stephanie Day, And I have served for over 31 years in a number of accounting and budget related positions for the state of Nevada, including serving as the Deputy State Budget Director and proudly serving as the Principal Deputy Fiscal Analyst to the Assembly during the 2015 legislative session. My accounts include the Judicial Branch, the State Treasurer, Veteran Services, and various budgets within the Department of Administration. This will be my third legislative session as Fiscal Analysis Division staff. On my team are John Kucera and Dustin Speed, and I'd like to turn it over to John.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is John Kucera, and I joined the Fiscal Analysis Division in February of 2018, almost 3 years ago to the day. I have experience in financial planning and analysis in the private sector, as well as nonprofit oversight experience. My public sector experience includes the Division of Healthcare Financing and Policy, the Aging and Disability Services Division, and a short time at the Washoe County Human Services Agency. My assignments this biennia include the Division of Child and Family Services, the Nevada System of Higher Education, the Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education, and I'll be playing a supporting role to Mr. Leiser with the Capital Improvement Program. And with that, I will pass it over to Mr. Speed.
Good morning, Chair Brooks and members of the committee. My name is Dustin Speed. I joined the Fiscal Analysis Division in October of 2019. This is my first session. I previously worked as an auditor for the Nevada Department of Taxation, and I'm currently assigned the Department of Corrections, the Department of Sentencing Policy, Parole and Probation, Parole Board, and Fleet Services. And with that, I will hand it over to Team Drost.
Thank you, Dustin. Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Adam Drost, and I began working for the Fiscal Analysis Division in 2012. I previously worked for the Department of Administration and various local governments. My assignments this session include the Nevada Department of Transportation, the Department of Motor Vehicles, and various budgets in the Department of Education. This will be my fifth legislative session, and I am fortunate to work with J. Marie Mangoba on my team, who will be introduced next. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I am J. Marie Mangoba, and I joined the Fiscal Analysis Division in October 2013. I began working for the state 20 years ago, holding several positions at the Department of Motor Vehicles, Department of Administration, and the Department of Transportation. My assigned accounts include various budgets within the Department of Education, the State Public Charter School Authority, the Cannabis Compliance Board, the Office of the Military, the Department of Taxation, and various budgets within the Department of Administration. This will be my fourth legislative session with the Fiscal Analysis Division. And with that, I'll turn it over to Karen Hoppy.
Good morning, Chair Brooke and members of the committee. My name is Karen Hoppy, and I have been with the Fiscal Analysis Division since 2011, and prior to that, 11 years with the State Controller's Office for over 20 years of state service now. I am assigned as analyst for the Secretary of State, the Director's Office of the Department of Health and Human Services, the Department of Indigent Defense Services, the Commission on Ethics, the Deferred Compensation Program, and various budget assignments within the Department of Public Safety. This will be my fifth legislative session with the Fiscal Analysis Division. And on my team are James Malone and Christian Tower. It's my great pleasure to work with both of those gentlemen. And I'd like to have you meet Mr. Malone next. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Brooks and members of the committee. I am James Malone. I joined the Fiscal Analysis Division in February of 2018, and this will be my second legislative session. Prior to working in fiscal, I worked as an accountant in the private sector. My assignments include various accounts within the Department of Public Safety, the Department of Administration, the Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission, and the Employee Management Relations Board. It is my pleasure to be here, and I am looking forward to this legislative session. With that, I will pass it off to my team member, Christian Tower.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Christian Tower. I joined the Fiscal Analysis Division in November 2019. Before that, I served as the manager of the Health and Human Services Committee during the 2019 legislative session. I am German in origin, but consider Nevada my home. My assignments this session include Division of Public and Behavioral Health, the Office of Workforce Innovation, the Office of Science, Innovation and Technology, and the Colorado River Commission. With that, I hand it over to Team Waller.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Julie Waller, and I joined the Fiscal Analysis Division in 2005, so this will be my 8th legislative session with the Fiscal Analysis Division. I've served as program analyst and now as team leader. My assignments include various budgets within K-12 education, the housing division within the Department of Business and Industry, the Office of the Attorney General, and the Gaming Control Board. I'm very fortunate to have 2 great team members, Colby Nichols and Madison Ryan. And with that, I'll introduce Colby Nichols.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Colby Nichols. Pleasure to be before you this morning. I initially started with the state. I was fortunate enough to be able to serve as committee staff for the Senate Finance Committee during the 2017 session, so some of you may recognize me from then. I was able to join the Fiscal Analysis Division shortly afterwards. For this session, I'll be carrying the Department of Agriculture as well as the Department of Wildlife, the Division of Welfare and Supportive Services under Health and Human Services, the Director's Office of the Department of Business and Industry, the Silver State Health Insurance Exchange, the Division of Minerals, as well as the Nevada State Athletic Commission. It's a privilege and honor to be back before this body and looking forward to working for you through this session. Thanks. With that, I would pass it along to my colleague, Madison Ryan.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Madison Ryan, and I joined the Fiscal Analysis Division in September 2020. I recently graduated from the University of Nevada, Reno in May 2020 with a bachelor's degree in business administration, where I earned a dual major in accounting and international business with a minor in Spanish. My assignments include various budgets within the Department of Business and Industry and Department of Administration. With that, I will turn it over to the tax team.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Brooks and members of the Senate Finance Committee. I am Russell Ginden. I'm a Principal Deputy Fiscal Analyst. I came to the state of Nevada in 1994, working for the Budget Office for 2 years, then going to the Gaming Control Board for 3 years, before coming to the Fiscal Division in the fall of 1999. This is my 11th session and my final session with the Legislative Council Bureau, in terms of regular sessions anyway. My team, which you'll meet the other 2/3 of here shortly, we are responsible for staffing the revenue committees in each house, also administering the fiscal note statutory provisions for the legislature, as well as being staffed to the economic forum and preparing forecasts that are presented to that body during their meetings. Thank you. And with that, I'll have Michael and Joe introduce themselves.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I am Michael Nakamoto. I'm a Deputy Fiscal Analyst in the Fiscal Analysis Division. I started with LCB Fiscal in November of 2005. Before that, I served as an attaché in the Assembly for the 2005 session. This is going to be my 8th session with LCB Fiscal. I will be serving in the same role that I have for the 7 sessions previously as primary staff for the Assembly Committee on Revenue. Though those of you who are on the Senate Committee on Revenue and Economic Development, you may see me sitting in those meetings from time to time. With that, I will turn it over to Mr. Reel.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Joe Reel, and I've been a Deputy Fiscal Analyst with the Legislative Council Bureau since January of 2008. This will now be my 7th legislative session. Prior to my service with LCB, I worked for the Nevada Commission on Economic Development and also as an economist with the Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation. I've now been with the state for more than 26 years. I've served as the staff of the Senate Revenue and Economic Development Committee for each session since 2009, and I'll be in that same role for the 21 session. And I received my bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of Nevada, Reno. I'll now turn it over to Ms. Harvey.
Good morning. My name is Cheryl Harvey, and I've been with the Fiscal Analysis Division for 18 years. My position as a management analyst supports not only the office as a whole, but also the Senate and Assembly fiscal analysts in drafting all the meeting agendas, tracking bills, and other various projects. I also assist the tax team with the fiscal notes. And this is my 10th legislative session with the Fiscal Analysis Division.
Mr. Chair, those are all the virtual introductions. There are 3 other individuals I would like to introduce. I don't see Eileen O'Grady on the Zoom. She will again be Eileen O'Grady, the Chief Deputy Legislative Counsel, who I'm sure you all know very well. She will be serving as the committee counsel for the Senate again this year for Senate Finance Committee. I'd also like the committee to be aware of 2 individuals that are assisting us as session hires, former LCB employees. Mark Krampotic, whose big shoes I can only hope to partially fill this session, is assisting the Fiscal Analysis Division as a session hire. And Patty Sullivan, who recently retired from the Fiscal Analysis Division as a management analyst, who many of you are familiar with in the past from getting emails about agendas and things like that, has also returned from a short 1-day retirement to work as a session hire for the Fiscal Analysis Division and help us out this session. And I'd just like to, again, to thank all the staff for introducing themselves. And we have a great team in the Fiscal Analysis Division. It was one of the most appealing things about taking the Senate Fiscal Analyst job was the extraordinary staff in the division. Their dedication, their hard work, and then just their level of knowledge of state budget matters is phenomenal. And it really is an honor to work with them. That's it, Mr. Chair, for fiscal staff introductions.
Thank you, Mr. Thorley. I am, as we walk through all this and I see all these different people in so many different locations, I am reminded once again how amazing and talented our broadcast team is and how hard they will be working for the next 100 days. And I also am just reminded how grateful I am as a Nevadan that we have so many talented individuals that serve the state and that work for LCB in so many different capacities, and just how there is absolutely no way we could get the business of the state done without all these talented folks around us. So thank you so much, and please have patience with me and with the rest of the committee, but especially with me as we go through this journey. So I really appreciate that. So I think that brings us to our final agenda item, which would be public comment. And I think and as we work through this, we will be kind of working out some of the kinks with public comment and public participation. And so if there is public that's watching this, please bear with us as we work through this process and try to make it as accessible as possible. So BPS, is there anyone signed in for public comment, or do we need to transition to opening up phone lines?
Thank you, Chair. The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time. Would you like to take a 2-minute pause?
Yes, I think that might probably be the best way moving forward, like we've done in all our interim committees, give the public an opportunity to call in.
No problem. Thank you, sir. Okay, Chair, thank you for standing by. The public line is still open and working, and there are no callers at this time.
Thank you. Well, so before we adjourn, I just wanted to remind all of the committee that tomorrow morning is a joint full committee where we'll be with Ways and Means and an LCB audit. We'll be presenting a summary of all the audits that they've conducted during the interim. And we'll also be hearing from budgets from the governor's office and lieutenant governor's office. And I will see you all there. And just reflecting upon this committee and the staff, I can't stress enough how lucky we are. We have two former folks who work in the executive branch of our government in the governor's office. We have former city government, former county government, and as well as the private sector experience on this committee. So I think that we're going to do great work and have a deep understanding of the needs of the state of Nevada that we can bring to this committee. So just once again, very grateful to be surrounded by such talent. Well, with that, we'll adjourn. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.